What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What a day indeed. You thought we were getting ready to take back off only before closing bell. We sold off like crazy. Now, there is a lot of news that came out today. There is a lot going on this week. We got numbers coming out. We got the House approved the new package, the new stimulus bill. Again, it's something gets through the Senate and to the president. But being said, before we get more into this, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. But where does that leave us now? We did come crashing down quite fast towards the end of the bell today, but looks like everything is stabilizing and pushing back up. I don't know if the worries about the market and inflation coming into play. I think what the big thing is, and the big thing to watch out for tomorrow, is that Powell will be on the horn, I think around 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't think he's actually doing anything specific. I think he is just speaking, but he always gets those random questions about inflation and everything. So that could ultimately bring up the point of where inflation stands about raising rates, because that's ultimately what we're worried about. Will he raise rates? And in my mind, he's going to come back, which not long ago, it was only maybe 2 weeks ago, he came back saying that he would not raise rates. But being said, anything can change, but again, I think in my mind, he before previously stated that it would be a long time before he started raising rates, although the rates have been slowly increasing a lot more recently than in previous since the pandemic. So being said, I think that's ultimately what we're weighing on with Mr. Powell tomorrow. But being said, the market itself is kind of looking at it. There is no really other news. I know Pfizer was in front of the committee today, and they were kind of going over the results. I don't know if anything specific came out from that. Iran says we'll end implementing additional protocol, allowing SNAP inspections by IAEA. I mean, there's a lot of kind of news. Even the EU urged G20 leaders not to withdraw financial stimulus too early amid pandemic. I mean, so the world as a whole is looking at still providing that stimulus because we do need it to get through this part. Again, trying to build that bull case. I don't want you to come into this thinking that we're not going to sell off. I talked about a correction happening. That's what we are seeing. The stock market was too high, but how much of a correction are we getting? We've been doing these slowly bleed offs, these panic like sell-offs, only to be picked right back up. And we do another sell-off. I mean, we woke up this morning with a sell-off, and we pushed right back up this morning. Again, some stocks are holding really good. Some tech stocks are holding really good. It's not saying Tesla did. Tesla took a hit today. Even Apple came down quite a bit. I didn't grab Apple Leaps today, though they look tempting. I wanted to wait a little bit more. March is yet to come. I want to see how this week kind of really plays out. So again, just kind of really maintaining my positions and watching. But let's get into the charts. So I want to kind of just look over everything and see what's going on for tomorrow. Again, the House did pass the bill, so that is moving forward, and we'll get to that point. But as far as everything else, I mean, if you look at the SPY, I mean, SPY is still too high. It really hasn't even sold, to be honest. I actually drew this out and put a box down here, measuring 10%. If that was to correct now, 10% is, you're looking at 354 area-ish. If we hit at least a 10% correction, again, I don't really see that. We are under the 200. I do see we could sell off some more. I've kept talking about this 385. We could get a nice bump off of here. It is a pretty strong support. Below that, possibly 376. I mean, we have some big gaps in between. Yeah, there's some little speed bumps along the way, but I think those are the biggest supports we have. But being said, if we are looking for a 10% correction, it would be down there. Again, this slow bleed off, right? It's not like we're again, I don't watch the 1 minute, so these moves don't look dramatic. But even from high to low over the past couple days, right? People have been talking about, ooh, we've been selling off for 5 days. Well, just before this 5-day sell-off, what did we go? Like 6 or 7 days of nothing but green days. So it's expected. We're only sitting at what, about 2.41% ultimately to low points in pre-market this morning. Now we are pushing back up. Again, do I expect this to hold? At this point, not really. Again, I expect this. We've been playing the same pattern, right? Like every day, either we sell off pre-market and we bounce up quite a bit, and then we've just been playing this zigzag. Again, you got individual stocks running. I know BA, the airline started really pushing up. A lot of value stocks. Looks like money's been shifted into value. And there's a lot of articles coming out talking about value stocks, about how they're going to outpace growth stocks this year, which is something Kathy Wood did talk about this year too. In our last interview with CNBC, she talked about how if rates are raised, and something I have brought up, if rates are raised, that growth stocks could see a dramatic hit. They would be the most vulnerable to rate raises. But being said, I think that kind of what triggered everything today, that mad sell-off with the stimulus being passed, people being concerned about that, and then just panic selling last minute. But it looks like people are picking it up after hours. Again, we'll have to see. Ultimately, my positions, I did sell 2 pennies today. I'm just trying to free up some cash. Again, I talked about this yesterday on the weekly update, but ultimately, I want to again focus on my high conviction trades. Ultimately, going through this whatever this kind of correction that we're having right now. Again, we're not even in March. That's not saying that March will be horribly bad. There is strength there. You can see the strength being there. Now, people may be allocating. I know everybody's been talking about the stock market. I haven't even talked about the stock market, about how people are trying to obtain assets. One of the cheapest being stocks, but there's, I've heard about real estate and some other random things like Pokemon cards, art, things like that, right? Those are other assets you can obtain, except those are very niche, right? And so being said, a lot of people aren't going to really know about a lot of that stuff unless they do their due diligence, right? Stocks are probably the easiest asset to obtain. And so they get on apps like Webull, Robinhood, Cash App, whatever, to buy some stock. But being said, where are we going? I do expect some more selling, although tomorrow can really guide us, right? If Powell comes out and straight says that he is not raising rates, again, reiterates what he has already previously said towards the end of the year, that might be all the news we need, and we start pushing back up. I'm not going heavy. Again, there's a lot of good sells right now, but I think I did take a new position in ENPH. So I did get back into energy with one leap. Again, not going crazy, not going heavy. It was at a good support, and I wanted it, so I took it. But let's get into QQQ. Let's see where we're sitting at from the high point here. QQQ is really just kind of taking a beating, to be honest. Big tech is just taking a beating. Everybody's rotating money. It's already sitting close to 5%. So just saying, it's pretty close. I think your 10% mark is around the 304 mark. Which is possible, but you do have a strong support here, which would be about an 8% correction if we do get to that 315 for QQQ, which I think would probably be where we might reverse. I mean, that looks like we're aiming straight for that 318, to be honest. That might be a great support where we reverse this thing back up. So we could see some more selling. Again, just be very picky on your high conviction. Again, I sold a couple pennies. I didn't get rid of all my pennies. I'm still holding on to the solar one, but my ALLM, I let that, I chopped that today. A little red, right? I have these pennies. I didn't have a lot of money. Again, I manage my risk in the position size. It's not a lot. It's something I can make up in a day, scalp easily, right? And so I wasn't really too worried about that. I was going for the long play on those. I'll look to re-enter those when we get better confirmation on everything. Again, just trying to liquidate. And I talk about this all the time about how I move positions, try to reallocate money to stocks that I have more conviction in at this point. At those times, I was really debating if I was going to hold those or not. But ultimately, I cut some of them. I think I'm going to cut another one tomorrow. I just hold I'll normally just hold the solar panels for the year, and then again focus on my high conviction ones, which I've gone over before. VIX looks like it could actually be getting ready to start channeling up here. Again, if QQQ pulls down to that the 315 mark, I can see that happening. Gold and silver are actually back in play. They've been pushing up today. But we'll have to see. Ultimately, is the market in general, right? I mean, it is high. It is rolling over. How much is it going to roll over? We had some dramatic rollovers here, but we popped right back up. Again, I think this is just a small correction. I think, yes, when rates do get raised, which I think October, well, my mind is October could possibly be bad. I think there will be a bigger correction at that point. But right now, I think there's just too much good stuff. And again, maybe the biggest play is in value. And I think my big play for that is probably going to be Airbnb on that side of the house. A recovery stock, right? I think that's been my favorite pick for this year, and I think it will play out that way. Again, they have earnings on Thursday, so my plan for Airbnb is to I'm actually kind of hoping that they bomb it so it comes down enough, and hopefully get a position on Airbnb with leaps or possibly shares, just all depending. Tesla again had a rough day today. It's been selling off. It looks like another bear flag. Again, I don't really know how much more it's going to fall. If you're a Tesla fan, I mean, it's a cult following. This thing can fall down to 650. I could see that. But if it gets there, to be honest, it starts getting that's under that 700 mark. This thing is just going to start wicking because people are just going to start buying into it. I mean, how could you not? I mean, Tesla is one of the best growth stocks out there, is the best growth stock, period. Being said, if it touches under 700, I will start adding more onto my position onto Tesla. Again, my initial position I took was around this dip. I think it was at the 785. I believe is where I originally got in. It was just initial position. Again, I haven't added to any of this. If it does start dipping below 7, I will start adding at that point. But ultimately, still holding this. Again, I haven't really, my major core positions I haven't sold. I'm still sitting in them. Square, again's got earnings on Thursday, I believe. And it actually got an upgrade to I think it was 360, which is absurd. So it totally beat my my estimate of 300. So we'll see how that one plays out. Airbnb, again, I really want this one for Thursday. If this one does a bad earnings and comes down, I think it will wick pretty quick. Being said, if it hits this 370 mark, I'm looking at trying to get back in, try to get in leaps for this for the end of the year. Again, for the summer play is ultimately what I'm looking for there. Apple, again, came down. I'm not really too keen on Apple. Apple is a good resilient stock. But again, big tech has just been kind of hurting. If I'm going to go big tech at this point, I think it's just going to be Tesla. Facebook actually had a nice recovery today, is holding pretty well. But again, not my focus right now. BYD needs to come down. Etsy needs to come down. Disney actually exploded today. I don't recall. I think it was just another value stock play with parks and everything, recovery play. U's been holding well, even though I'm red on U. It's been holding well. It's just waiting for its turn, I think, ultimately, and that will take off. I still really like you. Again, one of my main picks is Tesla, Pelletier, and then DM, Planet 13, and the Very Good Butcher. Those are my primaries through this whole thing. And look and see how that plays. And also Airbnb, like I said, I do want to get Airbnb, see how that plays out. But you is holding well. Pelletier is holding well. Again, I think this is all Kathy Woods. The Kathy Woods effect here is what held it up today. But if it does come down, I'll look to add on that to 25. NNDM, it did take a bit of a hit today. But again, I think it'll quickly recover. I'm not too worried about this position again for the year. Fastly holding well, is dribbled off a little bit, but still holding well. Look for that to really jet for this year. Still have a leap in this one as well. Again, trying to liquidate. Again, I'm trying to focus on the other ones. I do have some other leaps I would like to keep, unless something changes dramatically and the market just craps out, then I'll reassess at that point. And again, why if you follow me or anything, you don't, do your own due diligence. I gauge what I see on the market, what I'm seeing in the moment. So I may jump out of a position, or if I see some other particular stock that I want to get into, liquidate, and then jump into a better option if there is one at the time. High Tide, it's holding well. I do like High Tide, but right now with everything going, I want to see better things. ALM, I actually got out of this one today. I took a little bit of red on that, but not bad. Planet 13, I'm actually upset because I saw it down here today and I was going to grab it. It was in the zone. It was in the 200. And then we had this nice little pop today. I think New Jersey actually approved the MJ as well. So I think that's where that pop came from today. It's funny how the news comes out perfectly in these zones sometimes. But Very Good Butcher, it's actually sold off a little bit, still holding. Not worried about this position. I think, again, once it transfers over to the Toronto Exchange, it's really going to jet. You have to think, too, a lot of people are starting to go back to normal. They're thinking about this whole pandemic and everything is going back to normal, normalizing. That's where these value stocks are starting to run. AMC being one of them, jumped 9% after hours, which is one I talked about. I did have a leap in that one. That's, again, gone up 9% after hours. And they're planning to actually open one of the theaters in New York, I believe. So on that news, everything's really been popping. Evogen, this one's coming down. Looking for a good support. I really want to see where this base is out. If it starts consolidating again, I'd like to jump back in this one. But we'll have to see on the timing on that one. CRNT, I do like this one a lot. Had a nice pop today, but wait for it to come down. It's not my PLT. This is one I got out today too. I took a little bit of red, nothing major. Again, just trying to reallocate stuff. Again, when I go into it, I manage my position size that way, right? These pennies, I didn't have a lot into it. I wanted to hold them for the year to hopefully build into something. But ultimately, I'm not liking the market, and I want to reallocate my stuff into the more high conviction ones. Again, I think this will be a massive bull year. After, if you haven't seen my weekly update, go and watch that video and understand why I believe it's extremely going to be bullish. But being said, the analysis, the technical aspect of everything right now isn't looking the greatest, right? Riot actually looks pretty good here, but everything is just selling off. But being said, I've been really playing the fundamentals on this one a lot. I don't typically play the fundamentals this hard, but I really, truly believe that we're going to live through another historical moment in the bull market. And I think last year's the V-shaped recovery is going to be minuscule to what's about ready to happen with all this money, all the stimulus money. Everybody have that massive savings and getting ready to spend some money. So I think, value really could be the biggest play as opposed to growth this year. trying to spread it out a little bit, not be into too much growth stock. I know that is one of my favorites. It's a lot of people's favorites. So just keep that in mind. You probably want to have some kind of value play going forward as well. But again, it's not financial advice. Not at all. CCL actually has been exploding. Value stock actually sold off with everything. So we'll see how that one recovers. Walmart's been taking a massive hit after earnings. Could be possibly growth stock as well. I mean, a lot of stuff that they're doing, trying to buy TikTok and everything else. Let's see this one here, BBF. I'm actually looking to get out of this one as well and look to re-enter this one tomorrow. Again, just try to liquidate some money. We'll take a little bit of a loss on that one, but it's fine. At this point, try to reallocate and be on top of everything. Works, right? Again, my original plan was to be pretty liquid at this point, but my mind has really changed about the market in general lately. So, but it's still a possibility on how everything is going. Let's see what else. AMC, where is AMC? I just had AMC on here. POW, still holding up. Skills, yeah, everything is really selling off. Baidu is still doing good. There's AMC. Yeah, so AMC had a massive push after hours. I did do a little bit of selling, so it'll be interesting to see where this opens up tomorrow. This actually might pop over tomorrow and start running. So if you're looking for a continuation play, AMC actually might be really good tomorrow. IQ has been hit pretty hard. WWE is holding up well. Again, this is one of the ones I think is going to do very well this year as well. Just the entertainment, people just getting out and doing something new, right? People are tired of being in the house. They're going to go out and do whatever it's going to take. Wrestling is always fun to do. So I think this will actually explode this year. Let's see. TAP still holding. Tilray, I'm surprised Tilray hasn't started moving off that news. None of the MJ space has really moved from what I've seen. Leslie, not really moving. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much what I got for today. I don't want to make this video too long. I did make a long video yesterday, but ultimately for tomorrow, just play it by ear. Again, I think there could be a little bit more selling. So if you're playing the fundamentals on this one, mark your supports, average down, whatever the case is. I'm kind of just watching. At this point, I'm spread out, so I'm just kind of liquidating some of the smaller pennies that I have, getting ready to reallocate those back into all my high conviction stocks. Looking for a base here. I'm not too quick to jump into anything right now. I'm really just trying to watch. Doing some intraday scalping. I did do that on Tesla today. So I did scalp Tesla off a bounce today. That was one of the other plays I had today. I do like scalping Tesla. Tesla does respect a lot of the support lines and stuff, and you get pretty good bounces out of them. So I do play that quite a bit, just for some instant cash, essentially. But being said, so be careful, manage risk, and let's do this thing, right? Till tomorrow, guys. I'll see you guys later.